Ray William Johnson is one of the OG YouTubers. Back in the day, he was actually the most subscribed to channel on the entire website for his show Equals 3, and he's kind of had an ebb and flow on YouTube, you know, as many YouTubers do. They pop off for a little bit, and then they kind of die down, but he's managed to pretty consistently reinvent himself whenever needed. But recently, he got himself into a little bit of trouble when he made a video about an accused cult leader, and now that cult leader is threatening to sue him. Ray William Johnson is going through some kind of situation right now where Ray William Johnson, for you guys don't know, he started by making Equals 3, which is one of the biggest clip shows on YouTube back in the day. He would just pull up some funny clips from someone. And now he's, you know, he evolved into shorts content later on. And now he's doing like true crime videos. But apparently he has been threatened with being sued by a cult leader, which is nuts. And Oompaville made a video all about it. So I'm curious to watch this video and see what's going on here.
There's a very real possibility that I get sued as a result of this video.
Apollo Quiboloy surrendered to police after a 2-week search of his 30-hectare estate in the city of Davao.
It's unlikely, but it could happen. It's happened to another YouTuber.
Dear Mr. Apollo, first of all, you.
Imagine being so desperate to hide your alleged crimes. And by alleged crimes, I mean the FBI has a warrant out for your arrest and you're on the most wanted list. Pretty hard to get on that list.
This is the man who calls himself the appointed son of God.
How is he even suing someone if he's on the FBI's most wanted list? Apollo Quiboloy, megachurch pastors. This guy is a cult leader, is what they're saying? Well, I mean, we'll have to see more about that. We'll have to see if there's actually good justification for that, but that sounds interesting.
Apollo Quiboloy.
Today we're talking about this guy named Apollo and what exactly he's been up to on the internet. Not exactly a likable guy. I've already mentioned the FBI's most wanted thing, but his rap sheet is terrifying. He has a federal warrant out for his arrest and he's been indicted by a grand jury. I'm gonna pretend like I know what that means, but trust me, you're gonna wanna watch this. It's crazy. In 1985, a fellow in Davao City.
So, to my understanding, a grand jury is what happens when the federal government wants to prosecute someone. They don't necessarily need a grand jury, but essentially it's like a pre-trial hearing where they get a large group of people together. They present evidence to them, and they then, you know, are trying to get them to approve the idea of them indicting someone. So, like, you know, before the trial, right, before they actually federally or formally press charges, my understanding is they have basically a room full of people, a large jury, you know, through jury selection, you know, members of the public, right? You can call them for jury duty, you go there, and they then, the federal government then has to present their case for why they should indict this guy. And if that happens, then they get to officially indict him, which means that, you know, they're going to go arrest him, basically, right? That's what it means.
Philippines claimed some angels showed up and had a chat with him. That seems realistic. And this guy's name was Apollo Quiboloy. I'm gonna say everything wrong in this video. I apologize in advance. And this guy decided after this moment that he was the appointed son of God. And then he kicked off the Kingdom of Jesus Christ Church, aka a cult.
Okay, so he decided he personally was a new son of God. Quiboloy, who's currently in prison, is alleged to have conducted numerous abuses of children who he forces to have intercourse with him in the name of God. Oh my God, this guy, I mean, alleged, but if that's true, this guy is a monster. I don't know a lot about this individual, so I'm going to refrain from making any crazy claims, but what?
Say a cult. Many people say a cult. Apollo was once a humble preacher and now is a mega rich cult leader, cross between Diddy, Kenneth Copeland, every evil, crazy, powerful, rich, weird person you can think of, and then add another level onto it. This guy is that.
Claims to reach 6 million followers with his satellite TV network, numerous publications, private jet, and personal helicopter.
I have to make it very clear that a majority of people think that this is a cult, and the people of the Philippines especially do not like this fellow. Apollo.
The thing to me is, if you're in this position where you're making that much money from running this cult, why did you have to start fucking kids? Isn't the money enough? Like, why would that even be a concern? Couldn't he just not? Don't remember Jesus being rich and evil, to be honest. I don't either, but, you know, to each their own, I guess. Like, if you have 6 million people watching your show, you're making all this money, why would these allegations even exist? Why would you even need to get involved in this kind of thing? You just can't help himself from being depraved, I guess.
Apollo did have some very effective indoctrination tactics that seem to work well on the general public.
I will destroy those whom I wish to destroy.
But it's not exactly holy, and it isn't going to end well for him. Things are falling apart. They've fallen apart massively.
Over 2,000 policemen marched from Camp Quintin Merecido to the compound of Kingdom of Jesus Christ, just beside the Davao Airport before 4 Saturday morning.
It is another classic case of a cult leader, a man who says, hey, everybody needs to listen to me because I have a direct line of communication to God. All right, I've got this Motorola Razr, and I just open it up and I call him and he answers. And I'll never be able to show you because you'd explode, but you have to just believe me and take everything I say at faith and then give me all your money as well. And then Apollo takes that to another level of evil.
For the followers of this guy, is it not perplexing to them that like somebody who's claiming to be acting in the name of God is also demanding money from them? Like for these mega church pastors that make millions and millions and millions of dollars off of these guys and are like driving Bentleys and flying in private jets, do the followers not think it's a little weird that somebody who's claiming to act so selfless and claiming to be speaking directly to God is profiting so much from it? Shouldn't that be kind of a red flag?
And just horrible sin.
If it's not God's will for me to have these things I have, you can take it away.
Quiboloy wasn't just hurting souls for God, he was also profiting heavily off of his followers, and former members explained how they were pressured to meet daily donation quotas. It was less about give what you can and more about give me everything you have or face divine consequences. My name is Apollo Quiboloy, and I am evil and a piece of shit and indicted on federal charges in the United States of America.
Bam. The FBI.
Why did he ossify him? Wait.
And I am evil and a piece of shit and indicted on federal charges in the United States of America.
Why did he make him gay? That's worse than any other accusation. I mean, he was accused of crimes with children. You know, that's not good. But accused of being gay, I feel like that's undoubtedly worse. You know, I feel like they're you know, Oompoville frankly is asking for a lawsuit here. And, you know, it's hard for me to blame Quiboloy. Oompoville's slandering him, you know? It's not cool. If they made him look like you, all right, buddy, you're done. Mine too.
America.
Bam. The FBI arrests some of his innermost circle, and they're officially looking for Apollo too. And he's being accused of fraud, human trafficking, and trafficking. And now he's on the FBI's most wanted list.
His tactics work very effectively.
So what did Ray William Johnson even say about him? Did he actually slander him? He seemed to cover it pretty impartially. He was like, he was accused of this. You know, there are allegations about him. He stated it factually, like he was, you know, he's on the FBI's most wanted list. That's not slander to say that.
And he became an incredibly rich man. He went from preaching in a rundown building to cruising around on a private jet and continued to ask for more and more and more money. He built a church compound with an arena called the KJC
Oh my God.
that can seat 75,000 people, which is insane.
He built his own arena? This guy seems like a crazy good rabbit hole to get into here. Well, maybe not if he's threatening to sue everyone. We're going to sue you, Ray. Thanks for the content. Ray William Johnson, a little bit of a redemption arc here, all right? He's making some good moves.
Insane. You really have to spend time to understand the scale of this thing. I mean, there's a lot of POSs in America, mega churches and all this nonsensical shit with these cult-like leaders at the heads of these different organizations. This is on another level. His KJC Mega Ultra Super Thunderdome is one of the largest indoor arenas in the entire world. That's mind-boggling. By 2023, Quiboloy's kingdom had ballooned to a whopping 7 million followers worldwide, which is more followers than my own channel. This guy's more popular than me.
He's so wealthy, in fact, that he's able to start his own broadcasting network. And this helps spread his teachings beyond the Philippines. So now he's got followers around the world, in many different countries, including the United States.
Let's find him and turn him into the FBI. That'd be funny. For more reasons than him just having a larger follower count. This guy's a jerk. This guy's a dickhead.
Police Regional Office 11 and policemen from neighboring regions stormed several properties of Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Apollo Quiboloy. This is to serve the warrants of arrest.
Apollo Quiboloy. I want to see if I can read something about him. Apollo Quiboloy. So we got the FBI website. Let's see what the FBI is saying. Apollo Carrion Quiboloy, the founder of the Philippines-based church, is wanted for his alleged participation in a labor trafficking scheme that brought church members to the United States via fraudulently obtained visas and forced the members to solicit donations for a bogus charity, donations that actually were used to finance church operations and the lavish lifestyles of its leaders. Members who proved successful at soliciting for the church allegedly were forced to enter into sham marriages or obtain fraudulent student visas to continue soliciting in the United States year-round. Furthermore, it is alleged that females were recruited to work as personal assistants or pastorals for Quiboloy, and the victims prepared his meals, cleaned his residences, gave him massages, and were required to have sex with Quiboloy in what the pastors called night duty. Quiboloy was indicted by a federal grand jury in the United States District Court for the Central District of California for conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion, and trafficking of children, fraud and coercion, conspiracy, and bulk cash smuggling. And on November 10th, 2021, a federal warrant was issued for his arrest. So he's currently in jail somewhere then, right? Because they say that he's on the FBI's most wanted list. He was born on April 25th, 1950 in blah, 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 blah. He migrated after the Second World War, so he's old as fuck. Okay. He was born in 1950. His parents were natives from Lubao before migrating after the Second World War. Okay. I didn't totally understand that for a second. I was skimming too much. World War II ended in 1945. So his father was originally a Protestant and a member of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. His sibling later became the Assistant General Superintendent of the UPCP before moving for independent work at the Greater Manila area. Interesting. Career with UPCP is the preaching machine. Quiboloy never saw preaching as his future career, originally expressing desires to become a nautical engineer and pilot. However, because of the benefits that came with Bible college, including free board and meals, fully paid tuition fees, and a free boat ride to Manila, he continued to study theology at the United Pentecostal Bible Institute. He continued to preach for the church after completing college and gaining moniker as a preaching machine. In 1973, the UPCP nominated Quiboloy to represent them at the International Youth Corps World Conference held at Seoul, South Korea. The denomination would also elect Quiboloy as UPCP's National Youth President. So he's politically involved as well. He's criticized the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, and National Democratic Front, which forms a triumvirate, which has been waging a communist rebellion against the Philippine government. Okay, so he's anti-communist. Well, I guess we've got that down. Quiboloy and the Kingdom of Jesus Christ have been sued by a woman for allegedly brainwashing and holding her 19-year-old daughter who joined the church in 2004 against her will. He's got some social media bans. Let's see his arrest. I'm curious about the arrest. On June 10th, 2024, the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group and about 100 police officers of the Philippine National Police Special Action Force raided Quiboloy's properties to serve him an arrest warrant. The raided properties were the KOGC Dome at Buhangin District at 4 a.m., including Quiboloy's Glory Mountain and Prayer Mountain in Barabgat, Tamayong, and KGC compound in Lanang at 8 a.m. So why did the raid specifically happen? That's what I'm curious about. Why was the arrest warrant issued? Complaints against him. Oh, there's a bunch. All right. The senator and presidential candidate Manny Pacquiao. Wait, isn't that guy Manny Pacquiao? Isn't that guy like a fucking baseball player or something? Oh, he's a boxer. Wait, is this the same guy? Politician, businessman, and former... The actual Manny Pacquiao accused him? He cited charges of sexual abuse against Quiboloy as his reason for turning down an invitation for a presidential debate that was organized by the latter in February 2022. He filed a complaint against Manny Pacquiao. What the fuck? Controversial pastor Apollo Quiboloy filed his complaint against ex-senator Manny Pacquiao after the politician cited charges of sexual abuse, hounding the religious leader as his reason for turning down a professional debate invitation. Interesting. This guy's got a real rabbit hole. There could probably be a fucking 3-hour video about this guy.
Pastor, as well as to 5 co-accused for charges of child abuse, and human trafficking.
He's just like Joel Osteen and Kenneth Copeland in terms of his wealth. The guy has about $100 million net worth, is estimated at that. Quiboloy quickly gained a massive follower base, grew a ton of power, made a bunch of money. He was even appointed as a spiritual advisor by the previous president of the Philippines, a guy named Rodrigo Duterte, a tyrant by all meanings of the word, I'd say.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte has called on Filipinos to pray for peace and justice as he criticized the police for what he called its abuse of authority and ignoring people's rights in its ongoing search for televangelist and Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Apollo Quiboloy.
I never understood why it's a thing that these leaders of megachurches and cult leaders like this guy can make so much money and their followers think it's normal. It's just, I guess he's super charismatic. They believe the things that he's saying, and then they always lie and say it's God's will.
If my goodness I'm doing.
It is surprising to me. I guess the answer is just there's so many lost people out there who are just looking for they want some explanation, they want some connection, to God. They want some, reason for things to be the way they are. And I don't think religion is a bad thing, but there are these charlatans who will take advantage of it and claim that they are actually the son of God. And when someone hears that, initially you're like, well, how could you be the son of God? But when somebody's this charismatic, and this, convincing, and they offer you like a way to a better life, they're offering you a direct ticket into heaven. A lot of people will be very convinced by that, convinced by the idea of being saved in the afterlife. So they'll do anything they can to get at that. And that will even mean giving this guy millions and millions of dollars, apparently.
Is persecuted and maligned, and I'm falsely accused. I will double that goodness.
I'm not going to be riding around here on this tube full of hot demons, all right? I got to get my own private jet. I don't want to get farted on by a goddamn baby or something. That's what Kenneth Copeland said, I think.
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
So it's clear that Apollo...
That guy's awesome. Kenneth Copeland. That's one of the classic megachurch pastors. He defends his lavish lifestyle.
We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second. Of course. Not the people. The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial...
Look at him trying to come up with some reason to justify this. Look at him trying to come up with some reason to justify why he said that flying commercial is like flying in a tube full of demons. Frankly, I agree. Flying commercial is like flying in a tube full of demons. If I had the money, I would be on a private jet at all times. I think that's based. So I agree with him, but let's hear what his justification is. Ironic how this guy who's a pastor, he has like very demonic eyes, or a preacher. His eyes look very scary to me. He has like super small irises.
I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing. That's really the main.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but...
Isn't it the business of your donors?
Listen, I paid.
Why even get involved in this interview? If you know you're a scumbag, maybe he's just reasoning in his head that it's fine because people give him money and he's acting in the image of God, so it's fine. But he actually looks like a reptile. Kenneth Copeland hating the Brokies W. I agree with you completely.
You kind of caught me off guard here, okay?
Yeah, you did get caught off guard. Why even be here? She ran right up to your fucking Cadillac. Why are you even engaging with this woman? Just get out of there, man. The woke media is trying to destroy you.
Certainly. Well, if you'd like to come out here, I'd like to give you a chance to to catch your breath and have a conversation. We don't want to catch you off guard.
I love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listening to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh yeah. Now,
my wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh yeah. What does that mean? What does that mean?
Thank you, Lord. Help me. Let me pray this thing.
Well, let me just ask you a really simple question. A lot of people think it's unbecoming for a preacher to live a life of luxury and to fly around in private jets.
It's a very good question.
What's your response to that?
Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do.
Is that why you're wearing like a expensive watch and a nice suit and riding around in a Cadillac? Couldn't you just ride around in a minivan if you were so virtuous? I feel like it's not that difficult.
We have brought over 100, let's see, latest figures just came out, 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ. Let me give you another example. Last May, I was scheduled for Lagos, Nigeria. That's a long ways. I had a week off, and I was scheduled for Peru. And I prayed about it, and I thought, I'm not missing that dedication.
Dude, his eyes are so scary. Why does he look like that? Well, anyhow, I mean, this guy, whatever the case is not nearly as bad as whatever this other dude's, Mr. Quiboloy. Not nearly as bad as what Quiboloy is accused of. Well, so what's the deal with Ray William Johnson? What was his response like, I guess would be my question, because it doesn't seem like he said anything that crazy.
So this guy is me, and I'm being threatened with a lawsuit. Let me explain. A few months ago, I told a story about this turd, Apollo Poolboy, or whatever the hell his name is. In case you forgot, he's the guy from the Philippines who claims that he's the son of God. And he started his own church, and he got really rich off of it, and apparently he started sexually abusing his followers. Then he became wanted in 2 different countries, and then, bam, he gets arrested. Here's his mugshot, and now the man who claims to be the son of God is sitting in jail in the Philippines. So a few months ago, I told this...
Dude, they hated him because he spoke the truth. Much like Jesus, you know, the Pharisees came after Jesus. They nailed him to a cross. What's going on here? The government arrested him. What, based on a few allegations from some children about sex crimes? What's the big deal, dude? Come on. What's a few kids when you're the son of God, right?
Story, and I outlined a lot of the crimes he's being accused of, and then I moved on to the next story, and I didn't really think anything about it. Sometime later, I check an email account that I check like once every 6 months, and I see that I got an email from a law firm in the Philippines stating that they represent Apollo. And they sent me this very long and detailed demand letter telling me basically they're going to take legal action against me, probably sue me, if I don't not only take down my video, but they're insisting that I make a public apology.
Oh, so they're schizophrenic about his public image. It's not even the claims. They want to protect his public image. That's why. Can they sue him from the Philippines? I guess, wouldn't they have to hire like an American law firm? Can you sue someone internationally? I don't know how that would work. I assume it would be extremely difficult to pursue unless you hire someone like a lawyer in the United States to do it. Like, I wonder how that lawsuit was done with, remember Akila, I think her name is Akila, obviously, when she sued Sargon of Akkad. He's in England. Like, how does that work? Does he have to hire an American lawyer to defend himself against claims regarding fair use with American fair use law? How does that work?
Now, I haven't replied to this email, so consider this video my official response to Apollo's legal threat. Dear Mr. Apollo, first of all, fuck you. Second of all, I understand you threatening people probably works well for you most of the time. I mean, you're a powerful man. You have a lot of influence in some circles. I get it. I also understand that you and your church are very wealthy. Like, you own your own broadcasting network, you own a private jet, a personal helicopter. You own a church compound with an arena that's so massive it seats 75,000 people, which means when it's done being built, you will own the largest indoor arena in the world. You have an estimated net worth of $100 million. I get it. We all get it. You've gotten very, very rich off of your religion. Here's the thing, though. Your wealth doesn't scare me. Just because you have money doesn't make you untouchable. See, where I'm from, we're very big on our freedom of expression. And if the FBI is accusing you of all these crimes, and the Filipino government is also accusing you of all these crimes, then I reserve the right to make a video about said crimes.
Not only that, you can legally state that it is your opinion that you believe he is guilty. The only thing you can't do in the United States, as far as like stuff that'll get you fucked over for defamation, would be like saying he definitively did this thing at this point in time when you don't know. Like, you could say that's defamation if it's unproven in a court of law, but realistically, you can say it's my personal belief that this guy is a pedophile, or it's my personal belief that this guy is an abusive, son of a bitch, whatever. You can say that legally. Like, that's not technically legally defamation. You can make the argument that morally it could be, but just say allegedly. Well, it seems like he did is the thing, which is the most confusing thing about it. Ray William Johnson, Apollo. I want to see what his original video was to see what it could be that pissed him off. Haters gonna hate. Yeah, true. Thanks for the donut, buddy.
So this guy is a mega church preacher, and he gets a little pervy, and now he's on the run from the FBI. Now, the guy's name is Apollo. He's 24, he's from the Philippines, and he's a small-time preacher there. And one day, he's preaching in a little chapel when suddenly angels appear to him. And they come and they tell him that he's actually the son of his God. So he starts telling everyone that he is the appointed son of God. Well, I'm sure this will end well for him. So anyway, because of this, he decides to start his own church. And a few years later, after the church is founded, this guy shows up, Rodrigo. And
that's the craziest looking guy I've ever seen. I mean, I don't see any specific slander so far. I guess we'll skip to the more the allegations part. Why are all the AI images though, Ray?
for me to cover in one video. But anyway, and if that's not crazy enough, here's the part of the story where things start to get creepy. Among his church workers, the ones who are young, attractive women and who excel at getting donations, they get to move up and become what's called pastoral assistants. And of course, the prettiest and most obedient pastoral assistants, they get into Apollo's inner circle, and they become what are called spiritual wives. And spiritual wives, they get a special privilege. They get the privilege of smashing with Apollo.
I mean, he is stating things very matter-of-factly here, I will say that. But at the same time, like if somebody's being indicted by a grand jury and the FBI is pursuing them and another federal government is also pursuing them, you know, is it possible that some of the claims are wrong? Has the federal government prosecuted people unjustly before? Yeah, of course, that can be the case. But typically, I think my understanding, I don't remember where I read this, but I think that federal indictments have like an 80 or 90% conviction rate for the charges they bring to people. So it's unlikely that this is like completely unfounded, that the allegations from the FBI, if that's what you want to call it, are completely unfounded. Like that is, it's rare that that's going to be the case.
In fact, I'm not saying anything about you that the FBI's most wanted poster of you isn't already saying. Like, for example, that you engaged in sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Or that you engaged in trafficking of children. Or how about the 74-page grand jury indictment that outlines all these crimes you're being accused of, including sex trafficking by force.
I mean, he's even saying accused here, right? He's not saying anything wrong. Defamation lawsuits are incredibly difficult to prove. Doing this so from a foreign country is ridiculous. The lawsuit's a sham. It is. The thing is, it might be, even if it is a sham, it might be kind of a move where Apollo's lawyers are trying to just intimidate him into taking it down because, you know, hypothetically speaking, let's say that you make a video about someone and you think you're legally in the right, but they want to file a defamation lawsuit against you. Typically, unless it's like so without merit, it's not going to get thrown out before they even get to trial. Like some states have anti-slap and that's good. Like California, I think a couple other states maybe do, but you know, it's not necessarily likely that it'll get thrown out. So what someone can do if they have a lot of money is just drown you in court fees and just like try to ruin your life to the point that you're just like, all right, it's not worth it anymore. You know, you can't sue someone for making a video like this. I mean, you can try. It probably won't go super well. You can sue them. You probably won't win though under fair use. I mean, this has nothing to do with fair use is the thing. Fair use is copyright law. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, generally speaking, defamation lawsuits, it is difficult to prove in the United States, but that doesn't mean you can't try. And like, let's say you're somebody who has like 500 million, or I don't know, who knows how much money this guy has, right? It's not like impossible to imagine that he could drown someone, even like Ray William Johnson, who has money. It's not impossible that he could try to drown him in legal fees. Don't free lawyers have to be provided? Well, if you can't afford an attorney in public like court, like a criminal defender, yeah. But I don't think that the government's obligated to provide you a public defender in a civil case. No, the government does not provide public defenders for civil cases, but there are other options for legal assistance. Legal aid and pro bono, law school clinics, or nonprofit organizations, yeah. Because defamation would not be a criminal case. That'd be civil. Because, like, if you defame someone, you're not going to get thrown in jail. You know, it's not going to be, like, the FBI or, you know, the state of Wisconsin coming after you, right? It's going to be Joe Schmo's lawsuit and his lawyers, right?
Or what about what the Filipino government is formally accusing you of? Sexually abusing your followers or grooming children. That means that you screwed up so bad that two separate governments that aren't even working together on this, that means that they are each, in their own right, independently accusing you of the same crimes in their respective countries. Are each of these governments just making it up? What, to make you look bad? Sir, you aren't important enough for world governments to just make shit up about you. And what about all the witnesses who came out against you? Are they all just making it up too? The Filipino police identified 68 sexual abuse victims. 68!
I mean, I guess it's possible in some world. I mean, I guess it's possible they're making it up, but when there's 68 of them, I mean, there would have to be some insane government conspiracy. You know, this is like when the Tate brothers claim that they're innocent. It's like, I mean, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have like basically admitted to what the government is accusing them of on video. Like they bragged about it. So realistically speaking, when you have 68 accusers, it's unlikely that they're all lying. At least one of them must be telling the truth.
Bro, you're putting up Bill Cosby numbers. And now that it's all gone public, people like me are talking about it. And you're going to try and threaten us and silence us with lawsuits? Okay, Apollo, let me make this clear so that you can understand it. When I made my video and suggested that you're a sex trafficker, what I really meant to say was, you're a sex trafficker. Let me say that again.
He tries to sue him. He's like, when I said you were accused, I meant you are. You did do it. When I said that I thought you were kids, I meant I know that you did it. This is... Holy base. This guy is fucking... This is like Giga Chad. This is crazy.
You're a sex trafficker. And in case that wasn't clear, you're a sex trafficker!
He brought out the Bart Simpson megaphone. Dude. Yes, dude.
And if you really don't want people calling you a sex trafficker, then maybe, I don't know, try sex trafficking less. And if my words upset you, I mean, if they really, really, truly upset you, then feel free to come to the United States. Oh, that's right, you can't, because you're wanted by the FBI for, what was it again? Oh, that's right, sex trafficking. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, to take him to court, he would have to come to the U.S. If he does, he's going to get arrested immediately by the authorities. So, not going to work out, buddy. You're done, Apollo. You're done, bro. It's over. Ray William Johnson mogs you. Ray William Johnson mogs you, all right? He destroyed you. This guy just mogged you.
Damn, he'd be like, damn. So thanks for watching today's episode of Equals 3. I'm Ray William Johnson, and I approve this message. Damn.
He just got mogged, dude. This is the last thing you see before he calls you a child rapist.
This message. Damn.
That's what happens to you. That's what happens, bro. He destroys you.
Oh, and by the way, while I got your attention, here's something else I want you to think about while you sit there in a Filipino jail. Sir, you are not the son of some god. You're definitely not Jesus. Hell, you're not even a free man. You, in fact...
And that's on 2009.
...are a con artist, a cult leader who apparently can't even get laid without coercing kids into it. You're basically the Filipino Diddy. So no, Mr. Poolboy, not only am I not going to take down my video, I might just go ahead and post it again, twice, just to show you that I'm not afraid of you. And as far as me making a public apology goes... Oh, I got your public apology. I wrote it down and filed it away right in my ass. So go ahead, file your lawsuit. I'll be here waiting, ready to publicize the whole thing and remind the world each time exactly what you're being accused of. Because you will never, never stop me from talking about the awful things that you've done. Good day, sir. And so this is, for
good
you
day,
guys, the rest
sir.
of you guys, if this Apollo guy does follow through with this and he does file this lawsuit, I will tell you guys everything. As it happens, I will take you along for the ride. Might be fun.
Damn. I mean, I hope Ray doesn't get sued, but I think he does have the money if he wants to defend himself in court. So it might be funny if that happened, if the guy actually tried to file. But I mean, once again, to actually sue him, I think he'd have to come to the United States and be in court for that. So I don't think that would work out. He'd be arrested immediately. That was base though, dude. Good job, Ray. All right. Everybody shout out to Ray William Johnson. Doing your mom fucking won. All right. We love to see it. We love to see it.